Hello, 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 hello. Wherever you are on our mystifying planet called Earth, I hope you are having a sensational day, evening, or night, wherever you are located. My blended topic for the day is something I rarely ever see. This particular thing I want to talk about today. It's going to be, can I have a recursive particle? A recursive particle. Now, if you know anything about programming, like I do to an extent, a recursive function, when it keeps calling on itself, it calls itself. So, basically, can I have a particle within another particle? I have never ever seen anyone do that. We all have seen particles, but that's only one instance of a particle. I want to have at least two or maybe even more instances of a particle. Like I said, particle inside of another particle. That's the topic for the day. Before I begin, as you can see, I have low poly models here. This highlighted represents the earth or the ground. I could have made it better, but hey, it's just a demonstration. This little brown thing represents my tree. The next one represents a leaf on a tree. And these three wonderful objects are my low poly grass. You don't need to do anything fancy. Low poly will get the point across just as well as a realistic polished version. So let's begin with our particles. I'm going to highlight my ground, rotate it a little bit. I'm going to click on the particle symbols. If you're new here, the particle symbol is the one with the heavy blue dot, and it got the little rays coming from them. 3 arms, 3 rays. You click on that, and the button is called particle properties. Now, like someone told me before, I wonder why they don't have a new button right here. Because to a new user, it's mystifying. I clicked on particles and I don't see nothing else. They don't have no idea what this plus or minus is. But luckily for us, since we've been Blender for at least 6 months or more, we know we have to click on the plus sign. Alright, there it is. Now, as I said, I recently discovered the benefits of using particles. I never realized the benefits of using them. I knew they was there. I know if I want to make a fantastic space scene, if I want to make a bunch of bees flying around, if I want to have a bunch of buffalo on the field, particles come in handy. But they got to be identical, and they probably can't be moving either. They have to be stationary. Particles, yeah, they deal with they best deal with stationary stuff. But you can have things moving. All the particles have to be moving. All the buffaloes have to be moving. But I don't know if they can be animated. But I discovered particles really come into effect when you want to make grass. You all know that. And trees, you want to know that. And I discovered it even more helpful if you're dealing with an abandoned, rotten building. An abandoned, rotten building has many repeating items. For instance, the mildew on a wall. That's great for using particles. The shards on the floor. I can use particles to make those. So my eyes open up towards particles. So I'm starting to appreciate them. Alright, so I have my ground highlighted. I have my particles open. I'm going to keep, because it's talking about grass, I can keep my number to 1,000. This random seed value, you can use whatever you want for that. But this is important. I want to put my start frame on 0 and my end frame on 0. I'm doing this so I can see my particles immediately, like you see right now. They're not emitting from nothing. I see them. My frame, as you see where it says in Blender, where my mouse at start frame 1, end frame 250. So I want to make my end frame match. My maximum size is 250. So my particles should last for 250. Let's click on it and let's see what happens. See, I don't like that. Grass is stationary. Grass is not falling through the ground. So I want to make my grass stationary. And this how I discover. You know, when Blender, you got to play with Blender. Because usually, most Blender users, I think they're usually solitary. You don't have Fred in the next desk where you can scream at Fred, Fred, show me how to do this. Like with Maya. So everybody in the office may be using Maya so they can help one another. But Blender, I think most of us are stationary. But anyway, to keep my grass stationary, I click on physics. I go to say physics type, and I just choose keyed. And I just randomly discover that. Like in Blender, you just play around with Blender. You gotta play around for stuff. Play around with it. Now let me start my animation and see if it looks stationary. That's what I wanted. So I can have this in a full-fledged animation, and this grass will be stuck right there. All right, that's good enough. But I don't want it on these halos. As you can see, I have the halos. I don't want that. I want grass to appear right here. So let me go to render. Where it says render as, it has halo. I want to say render as. Now, if I got to say this, my grass is in a collection. Right up here where my mouse at, it says collection. Grass 1, grass 2, grass 3. It's in a collection. So let me zoom in some more. I want to say render as halo, and I'm going to go down here to collection. Then you see a new window popped open, or a new section popped open. It's collections. My collection is called grass. That. It's tiny because we have to scale it. Let me scale it some more. Okay. It looks pretty good. Now I'm not going to worry about why it's cutting through the plane. I fixed that earlier. But that's not the real topic of this lesson. It's about recursive particles. So I don't care that it's cutting through the plane. At least it's working. I like to randomize my stuff more. So I'm going to go up here to rotation. I like to make a little bit, because all the grass sticking straight up, pointing in the same direction. Grass don't work that way. So I'm going to click on randomize. See, give it a little bit of random, a little bit of twist and turn. I do phase a little bit, give it a little bit more. And I click on random phase to give it some more uniqueness. Make it look wild. Yeah, so now it looks wild. Like grass really looks in the field. Okay. So that's set. I want to call this my grass. Alright, good. Now I don't know why it disappeared, but sometimes you have to click on this little real time, then it pops back up. That may be a glitch in Blender, who knows. Alright, so I'm done with that. So now I can get to the crux of the lesson, dealing with nested or recursive particles. I'm going to click on my little tree. I'm going to give that a particle. Click back on the particle thing. It's on particle. I click on new. I want to give it a name. I want to just call it tree. And Blender, it's important to name your artifacts. It's important to you. It's called tree. I'm going to go to my emissions again. I say I want to have about 400 leaves on my tree. Still, I want the leaves to be. I want them to stay there. I want them to appear. Oh, I want them to appear immediately. So my start frame 0, my end frame 0. I want them to last throughout the entire simulation. So I put 250. There we go. But as you see, it don't look realistic. Even though it's not on my leaf, no tree has leaves on its trunk or on the secondary branches. I discovered leaves are on the third branches, and the third branches are the thinnest branches of them all. You can break those with your hand. Alright, so I have to fix that. To fix it, we have to go to something called. Now I'm gonna reduce the size of this because we're gonna have to use weight paint to fix it. Let's go to weight paint. I'm in weight paint. Now here's something important about weight paint. I'm gonna click over here on the object properties. I want you to see something real quick. Report display. You see, when you use weight paint, dear listener, your artifact or your mess must be subdivided. Weight paint works on vertices. A single plane, a single cube only have vertices on it, like on the corners. That's where the weight paint may work. But I have vertices all throughout this, so I can weight paint it. Alright, so that's the demonstration about the importance of having subdivisions to your mesh when you weight painting. So I can turn it off now. Alright, it's in weight paint. I like to click on this right top one where the screwdriver and the wrench appear, an active tool. I love this thing right here. But the weight paint menu is also up in the upper. It's on this toolbar where my mouse at. But I like to say I like the visual appeal. I like the visual. I want to have my, now when it's at 1, it will color your object red, as you can see. I'm gonna hit subtract, take it off. But I don't want to have it on 1. I'll put it on 0.7 or 0.6. Alright, take it off, subtract. I like to have it on mixed, give it some more randomness. Now I'm going to color these, the third limbs. Color them. Go around. Okay, good. Let's color underneath. Okay, that's good. Color this one. I wonder would it work if I do this, like this? Would it go all the way through? I'm going to try that. Let's see. I color this. Take it off of X-ray. Yes, it went through. So to speed up your coloring, you can just put it on X-ray, and it should go through the other side. That was a quick test for me. So my third limbs have been painted. So I go back to object mode. Go back to my particle system. I can up my number to like 300 or more. Now, here's the important part. To have these particles or these halos on my particular branches, I have to go to a vertex group. You choose density and you choose group, and there you see that they're there. So it's looking more realistic. But I'm going to take it off of vertex. I'm going to take it off the halo. I want to put leaves there. So I go to render. Click on render as. Choose your object, because there's only one leaf right here. And then I'm going to choose instance object leaf. But the scale is tiny. So I have to go up here to the render section. Choose scale and make it a little bit larger. Okay, that's a nice size. But you will notice something immediately. It doesn't look realistic. Leaves are random. These leaves are horizontal, which is unrealistic. So if you have to click on rotation, and there it's changed slightly. Let me click on, I clicked on rotation. Let me open up the option box. Let me choose randomize. And you see it's becoming random, wild, and chaotic enough. So that's my little simple tree right there. I'm done with these other objects, so I can hide them. I can hide this, hide. And for my grass, I don't have to click on all of them. Let's go up here to where it says grass collection and hide the code collection. Alright, now we're into the crux of this assignment. I want to take my tree with the leaves on it and see if I can put it on this ground, this low poly ground. So let me click on my ground. Let me add me another particle. I'm gonna call it trees. Okay. Close this. I like to have all my stuff nice and neat. Emissions, I'm just going to say 10. Oops. 10. Or 20. Alright. So emission is 20. I go down here to render. I'm going to scale up and see if it happens. Yeah, I see. I'm going to choose object. Yeah, I'll make that smaller. I'm going to choose object. My object is my tree. There we go. Now, it did not emit my 20, but I don't care. I wonder why. It did not emit my 20, but I can check into that later. The real thing, I don't even care about the direction of my tree. The real thing I really care about, we're trying to go and fix it, is that the leaves are not on that tree. That's all I care about. Even if I had the tree rotated rightly, the right direction, what does it matter? The leaves are not there. So, how can I fix that? How can I make it so I can have my leaves on the tree? It's annoying why I didn't show up my 20, but my other ones did. But anyway, it don't matter. The main crux of the assignment is that you do not see not one leaf on that tree. So, I'm done with that. I can delete it. I can delete it. Oh, I know why. Start, that has to be 0. Start frame has to be 0. End frame has to be 0. Now I got my 84. I'll put it back to 20. You see R20? And I could just go down to physics and put, the physics and put key, but it don't matter. My main thing is, not one of them has leaves on them. But I just discover how. Now, if, like I said, I just use Blender sporadically. I'm not a full-fledged Blender user. I have my episodes when I like to use Blender. I see a certain thing I see outside, I make it. So realistically, I can make almost anything I want in Blender. Just not human faces yet. I'm working on human faces. That may be the most difficult thing in Blender. Can you make a person's face? But other than that, I can make anything. So if I put my heart into it, I'll probably be making movies by now. But anyway, no leaves. So I'm done with that. I can erase it. And I'm going to show you something. The benefit of using a 3D package for a while. Because you start to discover little tricks. Little tricks you start to discover when you use it for a while. When you're a beginner, you bewildered. I'm going to click on my tree. I'm going to hit Shift D. Shift D. Zap. I got my tree. There it is. I'm going to hit Shift D again. Shift D. I'm going to add some more trees. Okay, I don't like that. I'm going to G, Z. Bring it up. I'm going to add a couple more. Shift D. And now, dear listener, now, by using this method, let me take my original, grab it, put it right here, hit G, Z. Now, dear viewer, let me see if I can see it on my camera. Now, dear viewer, I have a particle within a particle. Now, if you all know how to use the particle, but I'm not using the particle system, I just hit Shift D. If you are a Blender veteran and you know how to use the particle systems to create a particle within a particle without me having to hit Shift D, please let me know. But for me right now, even though I have to manually move stuff around, I don't mind, because I don't have to struggle with the particle system no more. So, let me do it one more time. Shift D. And see with this, and you know, dear listener, now, since I had that, I can highlight many of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can highlight all 5 of them and hit Shift D again. Oh, Shift D again, and I have another vast amount, like you see right there. Let me move them some more so they look better. See, I have a vast amount. I start from 1. So, in a way, in a way I can still have many particles created by hitting that Shift D. Let me okay, I know what I'm gonna lift them, I'm gonna raise them all up. E, Z. And see, I have a simple force. So if you can't use the particle system to have a particle within a particle, just hit Shift D, copy that original, and from that original you can make as many other copies as you made without scratching your head, without giving yourself a headache. But that benefit came from me knowing Blender since version 2.76. That's about like 4 years ago. If you like my discussion of having a particle within a particle or making recursive particles at this in the programming world, give me a thumbs up. If you know how to make a particle within a particle in a particle system, please let me know and educate me. If you would like to subscribe to hear future content about Blender that I find interesting in Blender, that I may learn about in Blender, please subscribe. Until the next time, dear Blender user, peace.